Shush. Using that smoke to his own advantage. Kick it well drilled, not going to succumb. There's again flip. Man, it's on one. Kick it again just to secure the round. Yeah, Cadian's going to get nothing done from jungle. A nice try, missed the shot. Evasive strafe, and now he's the one trying to evade the hunt.
Yeah, they're hunting him down here. Fame for it, surging forward. Kick it, trying to cut him off with the pass by going around T-Spawn. They are trying to remove everything here, and Cadian gets deleted by Norbert. And that was one of the keys when we were covering the Outsiders versus Fnatic game, I believe, is how Outsiders, the team who loves to save, we're good at punishing exactly that when you wanted to go for it. So not allowing there to be any booby traps going into round number 3. It should be a very light economical here from the Danes. And that was a tidy deagle shot, sure, but it's more of a consolation. And understandably so. It was a lengthy tech timeout before we got underway with play.
Oh, the juxtaposition there was funny. Alright, well, yeah, as you said, an economical.
I think this is a curious matchup. We've been talking a lot about this stylistically, and we're going to have to dig into those details here to explain it to everybody at home. But this game, with Outsiders in the server, it's the perfect team to highlight the importance of Counter-Strike's beautiful details, like turning that notch up to 11, milking every single moment, every single detail, every single kill. To its greatest advantage. Cadian gets one, but again, it's going to be James just mopping them up. 2 more to find of Shush and Stown, and they're already being dealt with.
But I think what you're referring to as well, it's no better embodied than in these two teams. Outsiders have their game. I know we used to dismiss it as a cliche, but there is a lot of depth to that statement if you investigate. You know, Heroic, they've definitely put their own flavor.
That's a lot of skill being displayed. He's called it off.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a little bit more than he could chew right there. The disapproval of the crowd. He's not happy with that one.
But is it safe to say that though the desk leaves Outsiders even in the conversation from Central 2-0, this should be a marathon, not a sprint? Now, I see Dastan on the mic.
Again, it's been very common for Outsiders to do this, actually. Look, we've got some timeouts start somewhere. Maybe I'll dig into them at half-time here. But they always seem to be taking these timeouts quite early. And this is after the 3-0 start. So Dastan just setting the record straight of how he wants his team to approach. And that combination of Dastan and Jane, had a chance to speak to Dastan just the other day. I think they've been together for something like 6 years. So the brain trust of this team have great faith in what one another are bringing to the table here. Now, we were talking about the Heroic playstyle, right? They're about subverting the expectation, but when you're in their server, you're expecting Heroic. That's their modus operandi. That is the unexpected. So Cadian on this AWP.
Well, both of these AWP in-game leaders have whipped out
window smoke
early. And Stown's just going to stand and bang. If you want to try, James is there. Should he try and clear? Norbert patrolling early B presence. Oh, this is more than a patrol. This is a forward watch. Shush has got straight ram control and trying to track on the jumping flip.
Didn't hit him at all.
Executed. Not a single bullet connects. You can see the reaction, anticipating a Molotov down his gullet. This is mad.
He might get around the back here. Kick it is coming back, and Shush is not predicting this whatsoever. He's pivoting, but he should be a dead man walking. Kick it hasn't spotted him. Kick it hasn't spotted him. Shush turns around and is going to get the kill. How's he pulled that off?
Nuts from Shush to have such a proactive defense so early into the piece. That signature Heroic. You got a gap, I'm going to leap through it.
And it comes out of one of their more passive anchors, right? Shush, the clutch man, you heard him in the interview there, feels like a lifetime ago now, but talking about how in practice he's been doing the clutch in the service, now wants to bring that more to the officials.
Love that forward positioning from Shush. He's not necessarily the character you'd expect to be up in their grill so early.
But Cadian is, and he might receive Norbert and Jane now, who have sauntered back over. Fame has been called to the party as well, and Flit, he's the missing piece of this puzzle to come through connector.
He should have him with the shadow. Norbert, legged, knocks his kneecaps off, and he's not slowing down necessarily. Cadian will have time to reposition, flashes, spray, Norbert, vicious, to take down Shush, and don't forget Cadian. Repositions down, catching that mid-presence. They're all now Tetris side. But they're playing Heroic's game. You two out, they'd love a plant. James to provide Overwatch. More damage inflicted through the smoke. Yavi so close yet so far. Bomb is in. First step in the flowchart.
Winnable now. James still alive with this AWP.
What with the health? I mean, James is a clutch king, master on this AWP, and he is facing in towards CT. Will Heroic avoid him? Still a lot of time on that clock. It feels like it slows down on rounds like this. Yavi, good for it. Cadian the same. Nothing for Norbert. That low HP. He has gone for the round the world maneuver. There's a small opportunity if Yavi doesn't hit this clean. Yavi needs it, loses it. Norbert should go down. He's hit every shot. They do get it eventually. There was a threat. And considering he was the one that caught flak early, it's impressive.
And this is where we need to refer to those details, right? A couple of kills like that, where we always talk about the economic impact it's going to have on Heroic here, so their buy coming forward, there will be one available, but chipping away, right, they don't confirm the round, but this is a long game. It's first to 16. It doesn't matter how quick you're out the gate, doesn't matter if you get to 10 first, and that's the way the outsiders approach Counter-Strike. They understand they're in this for the long run, so a great attempt from Norbert here.
Good to see him online.
Now that proactive nature of Shush right there, that can come from a lot of different elements on this heroic team. So do we see more of those risky maneuvers, trying to find these gaps, thread the needle? They're going to come and fight.
4 of them taking mid control and
no flash.
Complete success to Fland. Flip, Fame, down, Norbert advancing. Very forward position on this, and he's found a gap. There's no one home. Bomb's going down courtesy of Jane, and they're making a round out of this with a 2-man disadvantage. Heroic favoured for the retake, but look at this. Norbert caught out, Tessus aware. And it'll just start to peter out, despite that bomb ticking in their favour. Yabi's got the door locked behind you. They'll activate when necessary. They do need to get their ass on towards that bomb. Jane already catches Yabi. That is impressive! This is a problem now, because Kicker's still on the site, and he just needed one more frag. One more frag, and the 2v5 could have been a very real. Look how little time was left. Well handled in the end.
Again, another close one, right? Keeping it very honest here. This is the fiery counter-shot we'd like to see. Now, there was really no opportunity for Jane to try and save in that situation. Preempted that flank coming through. Bought them a buffer on the way out, but the fight came too quick. And look, this isn't too much of a worrying sign early in terms of we need to be majorly concerned, but we need to point out some of the stat lines here. Traditionally, for Fame and Norbert in this roster, they're two of the higher performers. Now, they're two of the younger blood as well. This is Fame's first ever major, which means it's first ever major grand final, and he's yet to frag. He is the number one in the tournament as far as opening kills go on the T side of Mirage. So he is going to be a factor here for them in success.
So not only is he the best on this side of this map, he's now on his first grand final stage at 19 years of age and currently yet to flag. Tessa
changes.
Cadian about to make a lot of impact on this rush. They're throwing bodies into the B side, and Cadian's just swatting them away like pesky mosquitoes. Get out! Only one. Jane in his Kevlar vest going to do his Kevlar best, but we got a fourth, or rather a third.
And a clean one. Right, that's the difference. Now, they were given that opportunity by the virtue of the buy-in. Well, funny this, outsiders haven't gotten away with any saves just yet. So that is also going to be a key factor here with some of these details. When you talk to the players, right, I've had the opportunity to talk to several pros over the last couple of days. I was talking to Magic from Spirit today. I got to speak to Mezzi and Fasha yesterday from Fanatics. Right, I got to pick their brain about, outsiders, Jame, and we're talking about Ghost Orbs. You never know where Jame is going to be with the AWP, but the assumption has to be he's somewhere, and that makes things extremely difficult. And again, it's another risky maneuver from Heroic here, keeping this proactive form. They have two players searching towards a ramp. The B bomb site was very light on earlier. It's just Tessus, but Cadian's here, but is he here in time in the first shot? He spotted across, one down onto Fame.
Another death for Fame. 5 deaths, 0 contributions. This time handed his ass by Cadian, and they cancel plans. Cadian just rips up that game plan, says try again, try something else. But that is definitely something to keep an eye on in terms of the opener being the opening death. Outsiders maybe missing a component, at least initially.
Well, Norbert is looking exactly like we'd expect Norbert to, right? You see how nonchalant he seems in these interviews. We're just playing our game, James is calling our game, it's like we do in practice, and that's where you want to set your consistent bar, which is something outsiders have for them. But this is the very early stages here. Now, the question is, are Heroic going to be able to break away from the pack? And when we find ourselves in these scenarios right now, we've got 50 seconds left on the clock, you're thinking, okay, well, they're just going to sit back, but they always go fishing. There's always a little bit of a look in case something happens.
Every round, when it looks like outsiders are down and out, they do seem to make a round out of it. Knocking on Shush's door, Yabi as well. No less experience on this side of the site, especially on a grand final fight. Yabi dancing with Flip. He's been a very imposing presence. Jane trying to chip away further as well. Shush has not moved. Look at this. The restraint on him leads to a flag. Should be 2. And that's the round locked in for Heroic. But you can see, this is another example. Outsiders will make you work for everything. You cannot relax.
It has to be a part of their gameplay as well, because they're so prevalent with the saving here. But if you lost those 2 opening kills, as they did in the first 20 seconds of the round, you can not just go back to spawn and wait, because they will eventually find out there's no sound, there's nothing across the map, and then they will hunt you. But you need to stay somewhat puffed up. Now, in a position where if you do get that kill, if a fight comes your way, if they do come aggressive, you can capitalize. And if you don't, well, then you can save in your safe haven that you've been able to buy yourself.
Is it fair to say as well that teams have got very good at getting information safely? At a higher level than we've ever seen.
We've got the jiggle peaks, obviously we've got jump spotting, there's boost, using that utility, right? There's a whole lot of different ways, and teams know that once you strafe out for that fight, you don't have to be committed to it. As I said earlier, information is power. Use your teammates. It is a team game here, and we do have a hero AK in the hands of Fame right now.
They're trying to activate him. Just trying to get the sleep out of his eyes and get him with his eyes on the prize. Yabi forward position. Who's responsible for underpass? That's down. You've got a 3-man setup here in mid. Now Shush will be on the jiggle. Gicket's on walking and spots him. Surely that alerts outsiders there's likely going to be bodies in mid, and they are still coming. Forward position. Yabi aware and now noted. Fame to activate. Down. That was his responsibility, but Fame with that hero AK does hero things. If he could just get another, Fame announces his presence in glory and bloodshed. Cadian tested on window. Tessa's tucks and turns tail. Actually dunks on Fame. That's a big nade from the Dane. Bomb in the back of Jane. Cadian at the disadvantage, or posted, and that smoke won't last forever. He has got that Tech 9 in order to facilitate any close combat he's required for. Heroica really strung out Flit. Straight to the head of Shush, and this now falls apart for the Danish defence. There is an open plan, knocks him off it, delays, but Jane will get it down regardless.
Yeah, it looks like Cadian trying to back off and save it, but Norbert, over towards this window room, he might be able to unravel this. If any sound cues are made, can relay that information, and Norbert just patrolling. He doesn't need to strike until they overstep, and Tessus has done just that.
Yeah, he's overstepped. And now could go down. Cadian, ooh, careful now, Cadian with his orb on his back. Tessus trying to bodyguard the leader. Does so with some parkour of his own and will get away.
Okay, well that should be it right now, and that was one AK, a couple of upgraded pistols. Fame, we were just talking about him, and he's that impact, and he's able to deliver here with not 1 but 2 kills to open up round number 8. So massive work for the 19-year-old. I said first major grand final. You talk about, hey, it's another day at the office. There's obviously pressure. I love the way the Death surmised this. This isn't like any other game. This is your opportunity to win a major grand final and join the elite. It's our World Cup. This is the tippy top of our mountain right here. This is every Counter-Strike player's dream. This is, if you're a completionist, the end.
Yeah, I feel something tells me Jane is a completionist. You know, everyone speaks so highly. Yakinda cannot stop talking about the way James sees. He thinks he's the smartest player he's ever played with and ever will play with. I mean, that is high praise from a player that we obviously regard highly. And I think Counter-Strike also boils down to this tightrope we all walk, when in life and in the server, of walking this tightrope of confidence and arrogance. You've got to come into the server believing in your ability, but you don't want to fall into that trap, and that's when you see arrogance in the game as well. I mean, it is, you know, almost one-to-one. Counter-Strike is very human.
Yeah, for sure. I think this, you know, at the end of the day, this is a competition, so you need to have that ego to some degree. Right. Know that you're going to battle because you want to beat the 5 individuals on the other side of the server. You want to prove that you are the absolute best. But if you have, as you mentioned, that arrogance right there, and you overstep the mark, you start taking too many risks, it will come back to bite you in the ass with these details that we're trying to define here today.
Alright, well, everyone's got the zoom banger. Jane and Cadian with their signature weapons. Let's see what round 9 has. Oops, in store. Missed Molly. Cadian, open the account for Heroic, and he's firing off the shot. No damage inflicted. Flip, just a bit of chip damage. Back of the box, down to half. Fame tries his luck on the same move, and they stack nade again. Heroic draw blood with shrapnel alone. Down, can't extend that lovely dink. Obscured view, but Fame still holds his nerve. And now Cadian for the finish. Oh, it cost him his life. That was a little arrogant. Goes for the finish. He was just so hungry for it. Didn't consider the Jane position.
This is the info game again. A-Ramp, nobody. They've actually given up the gap to Kicker, who's starting to come back around. Shush might get caught by a timing here in the 2 of these. They've had some awkward timing so far. Kicker's very aware, so is Jane, and this should be amazing right here. The A-bomb site is open for business.
Brilliant play. Fame again going to get some credit. Jane too.
So much utility as well. They can smoke towards spawn if they really like. Norbert has the power position over towards jungle. So got flashes, Molly's in play. Yabi on the flank as well again. It flanks on flanks on flanks.
Flanking the flankers who flanked. Yabi, how has he got this gap? Both there! Both there! Yabi! Impact! It looked like outsiders. Wow, now the script flips and only one more headshot required. Norbert catches flak. One to the head.
He's sitting it. He's sitting it.
He is holding it. Oh, and he doesn't expect it. Contemplates him. What a roll! Yabi and Tesses, with their powers combined, will make a fifth round reality.
Oh, okay. That's exactly what Yabi was brought in this team for. Replacing Refresh, brought in as the X Factor. Around the world, this didn't seem possible, right? Traditionally, when that kill comes in, I said the site, they had it was open for business, but not accounting for this. James normally ready for everything.
And that's what I was going to say. How rare is that? James not looking the right way? I don't see him caught out often.
That's the 2B defenders as well, but here comes the aggression. They might be feeling a little bit rumbled right now, and Stown trying to give him a little bit more. Chips away at the toes, Flip knocked down slightly. They will relinquish control of that boost. So information going both ways here. The Heroic, they've seen enough. They're dropping back now, and let's see where else on the map they want to continue this proactive nature. Back to isolate the A defender. It's normally just kick it here on the default, but Norbert as well.
And Norbert's just been a real safe pair of hands. I don't know if I'd want to trifle with him early. Oh, but Shush does. Successful. Onto the ramp presence.
He caught both there, but look at this. There's no reaction from outsiders. They haven't started pushing anywhere across the map. They're still just defaulting through. Fame and Flip. Not broken. Tessus dropping back to support Cadian's AWP, who is somewhat out of the play here.
It's always fun to watch how outsiders dig themselves out of trouble.
And they have to rumble Stown and Shush on A. It looks likely, as the bomb's starting to come up the ramp, a connector smoke, well timed.
Kick it on the crawl. Now, Shush will be exposed.
Spotted, kick it. Laser vision.
Got a free headshot there. Shush caught out, but he does survive long enough for Stown at least to shut him down. Outsiders still making a very imposing presence up the stairs. Nice angle through the smoke. One and done. Fame to trade. 2-on-2. Very high stakes game. And the bomb is being planted. The pot shot to bait. Yabi to crawl. I don't think they got the info on the walk through. Timing good. Damage better. Straight through the triple box. Again, Yabi a problem. Newest addition and absolutely unfazed by the state of play. Now they've got a smoke. They don't have a kit. There is one there you see on Shush's corpse. Actually one right in front of them. You can see that through the X-ray. Time-sensitive mission. Kit picked up. Oh, spots them both. Eliminates one. Fame holding his nerve in his first major. Never mind the grand final. He's lost him. He's completely lost him. Fame evaporates the invisible man. Clutching up to the outside. Pinpoint precision. That's nuts. It looked like Heroic's round all the way until it wasn't.
Well, he's opening and closing them now. That is fantastic from Fame here. Comfy stuff. And remember, tuning into this kid's stream, he was in a battle for the highest elo in FACEIT, right? Going toe-to-toe with some of the other big names of the world, and just watching him on this map specifically, his aim is out of control. He loves hitting the heads right here, and, well, he puts on a show with 2 of those.
See it. Dude,
that is a big round.
Robotic.
And that's just after the Yabi round happened, right? With that flank coming through. So that's a statement. The back and the forth nature of this is really good as we find ourselves at 5-5. And Katie, he was just scrambling. He was just trying to get out of dodge. I cannot believe they lost the positioning of Fame right there. So that is massive stuff from the young gun.
No silencer on that AK. And that one might get under your skin a little bit. You feel like you misplayed it. You do have to shake it off. Taylor Swift was right. But a very competitive first map. This is promising.
I like the little details around like that as well. You know, that connector swipe lands. I say good timing because you're expecting them to start limping up through connector and then go on either side of it. But that's as they crept out the ramp. So it drew attention. It did the job, and it enabled them to go from a 4v5 disadvantage situation into a 1v2 clutch. And here's the push again.
They're looking for gaps. Heroic. They will exploit your weakness.
They're just going to walk out Palace.
Why not? Kick it, just dry. You're not going to be ready for this. If you're sure, you're just holding a nade in your hand, and now, yeah, it's Stown desperately trying to bail his teammate out of trouble. Too late. Norbert makes it permanent. Shush forced to watch. Very light on nade. Stown needs to find headshots and has done so onto Flip. James still a problem. Onto Cadian. Limited resources for Heroic to defend now as outsiders look to take a leg up and a leap to 6. Flash will be eaten.
Tess is on a flank here, so
yeah, that is a palace.
James being caught up before.
Out again? He might. He is from behind. Tessus, only the one. It's Fame, long range on the Khalil. Safe pair of hands. He knows he's communicating a lot. I think he's aware of Yabi's likely murder hold advance. Down the one with a bit more freedom, but very hard pressed to make any sort of impact on this round. Header has to be on a swivel. Good damage. Fame doesn't give it. Kick it with contact. That is perfect. just team play. You know, we talk about it. This is what the desk was spending a lot of time discussing, is that both of these teams are this much greater than the sum of their parts because of their communication, because of their reaction to the information. Now, again, talking of information, James probably going to be checking his flank a bit more throughout this series.
Yeah, he's just hasn't expected this in multiple occasions. Now, lucky it didn't cost him because the kid that we were bringing up not that many rounds ago was 0 and 5. Now he's got himself at 9 kills to his name, so he is back in action, and that's exactly what outsiders need. And the key of a round like that, round number 11, was it's a break round. You could see Heroic, they invested everything and more, whatever they could, the kitchen sink, and now they have nothing. So this is going to be a day where they just run in to kick it.
He's going to have some fun with this one. So from 4 frags, 5, and Tessus, very good use of his USP. Flit just tapping away at the gap, inflicting good damage. Now you should see the outsiders just escort the bomb into B.
They might get a few more here.
I think he might. Farming up onto Cadian for his 10th. Gonna leap towards the top of the scoreboard here. Shush warded off by the flame.
It is crazy to think that Fame's clutch was the break round, right? Because that was the catalyst for them Heroic to go into a round where they didn't have everything they needed more. And then you're able to convert what is an easier round. They contacted out towards A. They had very forward positions. They convert that, and now it's the eco. So you can see the flow-on effects of all of these little rounds and the details that all add up.
That's one thing that I think everyone loves about Counter-Strike, is that whatever it is you provide in the round, be it a call, a frag, a multi-kill, a sound cue heard and relayed to your team, it all has an impact in the grand scheme, whether it's economical, whether it's a result, a round. Every single detail can have an effect on that final result.
That's to a slaughter right off.
Yeah, well, we do see Yabi maintain the only AK. Of course, Kickett lost that after the 1, so something to celebrate on an otherwise rather bleak round for the Danes.
I don't think an AWP will be available for Cadian here, so that is the conversation, is at least something they'll need to have in their gameplay. But they've been very proactive with these rifles, where we've seen a couple of times they want to take these fights over towards A. They've done some B pushes as well. Stan's even had that jaunt up mid where it didn't result in a whole lot, but they want to show themselves first. And I think if you can get a kill or two early against a team like outsiders and maintain that number advantage, that's when they're more likely to save, right? So it's going to make it a whole lot harder for them to get away with their smoke and mirrors and using that clock against you. So the buys are coming through. Saw Dastan today, saw him in the halls. He looks pretty focused, right? He's not a guy, you don't see him with a smile on the face too often here, but he definitely has some big insights. And we're talking about these teams and what they've been able to build and some of all their parts. Well, Dastan, he's been taking care of the other 4, while James been able to focus more on himself here, which helps with his in-game leadership and the impact he can have. And as an AWP in-game leader, you have to have impact.
It shows as well, James. Clutch of the tournament so far. One of the many reasons they find themselves in this grand final. Now Fame. Oh, it's down. Another name we must mention as he forces the conversation. A double kill forward on mid. Norbert's his next victim. Stone with 3 and dips away. Baits into Tessus. And the whole squad just sent packing. 1 to go. Jane does hit the first. Somewhat of a crowd favourite, and that's for good reason. But ladies and gentlemen, with $6 grand in the bank, Jane might be playing the long game.
Yeah, I think so here. The question is, how is he going to save? So at this point, he's boxed in.
It's his favourite game.
And he's been flanked a couple of times, so the likelihood for that is probably trickling through his mind. Yavi and Tessus are closing that door if he wants to head back to pick up the C4. Shush and Stan to contend with Palace in a round for now. And this is a round where we will just see time sink off the clock. But this is where you have to make the choice of your Heroic. We're getting late within this first half. Do you want to throw bodies at this to remove the AWP? Well, you may lose a couple, right? Because Jamie's definitely been hitting some shots. I know it's only 6 kills, but as you mentioned, this is his favourite game, and one where he would love to inflict some damage. So it might just be a stalemate here for the next 30 seconds or so.
Give us an opportunity to talk about Mr. Triple Kill. Stout, young gun, and a bit of a prodigy, a phenom for Danish Counter-Strike. I mean, there is a lot. Anyone that's Q and Face It knows there's a lot of Danish 5 stacks that hurt. But Stown is king of all of these masters of the mechanics.
Well, this is the thing with Stown, right? He gets the title attributed to him like Jack of all trades because he can do it all, right? There's a joke that he's the best AWP in Heroic, right? That's a bit of a gag.
I would even laugh at that one,
right? So Stown can do it all, right? And in terms of like superstar ascension, he doesn't have that same aura about him. But I think that's also also because of this team. Like coming into this event, right? He played average for sound standards within the Legend stage, and now in the playoffs he's finding his form exactly when they need to. So maybe just preserving that energy to make sure he could deliver here on the big stage. But that was just deathmatch in mid, just pivoting around, taking those fights, willing to get in the face of outsiders, and that's what we discussed. Those aggressions, looking for those kills to then have the round simmer out. They just got 4 in what quick succession.
Nice recovery though, heroic with quick multi-kill into mid. You won't be seeing that again, I say, with bated breath. The nades, flip nose, and has learned his lesson. They don't stop coming.
They obviously brought more bodies here, because if they're going to bully us with pushes, we need to force them back. Mid is key real estate in Norbert while he's taking another piece. Tetris.
James coming too. This looks like it could be a bit more of an early forward position out of Norbert, gives them room. And they'll wait for the go sign. Now that smoke might delay their proceedings. Good util, forces Norbert back. Wow, they just brought respect with nades alone.
Okay, that was a very good little option to force him out of play. But here comes Flit and Fame.
It's a rather standard pincer into A. 2 through mid. Flit and Fame. Dastardly duo. Coming for you. Cadian. Going to be swept through. Nice find from the leader. One and done. Fame's still an issue. Shush. Woof. Meets his fate. Double out of his M4 still. And Fame did take a lot through that smoke. Might want to just let Jame work. Let him work his magic. He's got the bomb down for you. These two, Fame and Jame, a potent pair. Up against the 3 of them. Tessus, if he can find it cleanly, does get spotted out by Jame. Relay of information. Fame is up close. The bait, the switch. They're not looking. Good react out of Tessus. Leaves it all onto Jame. 1 bullet. 1 kill. Smoke on the bomb. Can he really find all 3? Just has to stop that defuse. Yabi looking the wrong way. 1. As he looks to find another. Caught out. Well played. Just enough time on that defuse. For a 7th for heroic. I'm nervous every time the man's in a clutch.
Yeah, right. It is a very scary factor right there. I can imagine what was going through his head was the amount of times he's been flanked already in this game. So not only do you have to worry about whatever information Fame was trying to give to him, there's still a couple of unknowns in a round like this. And there was a chance to pick that one up, but heroic are recovering this CT half right now. Remember, this is the map choice of outsiders here, best of 3. And if they can get themselves the half win, even though it's the smallest of margins, an extra round buffer going into the break is going to likely mean a lot here for the Danes.
Ooh, it's a Poundland buy.
This is the thing, James saved AWP before with the extra cash he had. Now he has another AWP. So the impact he gets with this, that's been a carry-on effect, right? It's compounded from the previous rounds.
That's why they're so lethal, so hard to put away. Fame versus Stown, but quite the head-to-head. It's Khalil versus M4, and Stown wins this one, wins this round in the head-to-head. Still kept level, courtesy of flip through mid.
Teslas might push B a little bit more here, and on the timing, the jig was spotted. Fit and Stown will exchange information there. The bomb is still down, so this push from Teslas, if he keeps going through the B apartments, he may find the bomb before outsiders have committed.
I love this. First shush. Spoke his name. Still gets 1 on the swing through.
We'll find the bomb here.
Yeah, that's big from Teslas. Round defining. Knife out. Oh, he doesn't know. Oh, third kick it has saved outsiders. Teslas.
Where'd he go? And the bomb was there.
I don't think he saw it. And that could lead to the round. That ought to be discussed. James misses his first chance. 1 across the bow from Cadian.
Stown's still here.
Yeah, he can actually mantle up and deny that plan. Now 20 seconds as Kickett brings it through. They haven't pushed for CT. They'll be aware that's a threat. Molly, it's down. Gonna have to do side. Oh wait, maybe doesn't spread. Maybe doesn't spread. Maybe doesn't spread. Planting, he can't deny. Has to stand still. And still jumps up. Doesn't find the frag he needed. Kickett alive, reloaded, moisturized, and in his lane because this is looking like an 8. Cadian with him. Jane doesn't miss these. As soon as you cross into his line of fire, whoa! Gorgeous! From that AWP, 1 AWP for Cadian. What can you hit? Not the same, and run on down. It is a 1-out half on the T side. Outstanding from the outside. It's a recovered half from heroic. And this first map, highly competitive, as a grand final should be. I can't wait to crown a champion later today. semi-finals, IEM Rio, first half in the bag. I think both teams probably happy with that. We are ready to rock and roll second half, and we will crown a new major champion today, Chad. That is the reality.
Nobody in the server thus far has ever tasted the glory of a major trophy, but exists. Oh, the coach of Heroic, he's done it before, and he can see if he can help them get across the line. I think things have stopped and changed here. I think we're inside the arena.
Are we in the arena?
I think we are.
Can you hear me? Janus Arena, can you hear me?
Slightly.
I think that's a mild yes.
That's a mild yes. We'll take it.
Wow. That's exciting. Obrigado.
Probably accidental as well here. So
Anyway, second half is underway. Outsiders take to the defence. We've got Heroic on the attack. Let's see what the Danes can do. Up against James and Co.
Oh, there we go. Back to normal. That was a lot of pressure.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that one bit.
Well, this is looking quick. Molly towards jungle. They're going to come fast up to the underpass and straight into James, who taps away one.
Careful now. James, good for it. Gets away into the 4-on-4 early. Now, Cadian's working his master plan. Wants to keep Tessa's parked in mids. Down already looking for info onto B, and it's wide open for the taking. Look at this. This proactivity, this awareness of the gaps. He's already borrowed into bench as the smoke lands. Shane's not ready. Okay. Stown delivers on the frag.
How are you going to get back into this? Down's going to keep pushing forward, taking the fight. Tessa's has found Fame.
This is perfect. What a gorgeous pistol, but Norman and Kicken are laughing.
Fame's on the other side. Yabby's still coming.
Yeah, he's miles away. He has to hit his first on the
default plan as well.
He's got short to contend with. And he's already dealt with Kicker. A lovely tap out of that P250. Leaves Norbert. He's got a perfect retake package. Fully loaded. Smoke. Kit. Onto the bomb. Tickle it. Nervous. Cadian running him down. He's got to find that player on the bomb. Fakes it out. Still not getting that frag. Playing with them. He should have it on the knife. Missing it now. Cadian getting nervous. He has got it just in time. An extra $1,500 as the Karambit sinks into the Kevlar vest of Norbert. Oh, I want to talk about that pistol strat. Just seeing Tessus, you park in the mid and you just immediately see his value.
But it was the information. So as soon as they're able to grab that information, right, the James was a window. I don't know too many other details here, but they were able to get into B quite free. And I think here, poor Cadian was looking for a metal detector. He couldn't find him whatsoever until the final throws of that. So Norbert trying to be tricky with it. That's a pistol round picked up here. So exchanging the T-side pistols to tie things up 8-8. A force buy with 2 Fami.
Could go wrong because there's a lot of bodies here from outsiders, and Fame is so deadly on that FAMAS. The FAMAS with 2. Shush finally stops him before any more damage is done, but I'm afraid that will continue to echo through this round. They are trapped. Door locked with Norbert with the key. Now they can play this as they typically do. Kicker does go down to the flame. A war of attrition from Sway. And Norbert is starting to actually press the issue. Is unawares again, just clotheslined with the hand cannon. A single bullet, lethal. And James snapping to the head of Stown as well. Outsiders will make you work. In this second round, it's supposed to be a walk in the park. It's not. It's more like Jurassic Park. Snapping at you everywhere you go. Real Velociraptors, Flint and Jane will finish it. And that's a force buy victory. That T-side pistol, irrelevant.
Yeah, right there. That is a great round to win here. You see Fame on the side. That's not the expectation right there. The setup, traditionally Norbert towards B, Fame over towards short. James is your window connector player alongside of Flit, and you have Kicker anchoring A. So that little nucleus I just discussed is very, very potent. But this call, right? This call from outsiders with these type of rifles, this type of purchase as the force to stack that site, have now got us well and truly on the way for some force buy wars. Stown will have an AK going into this round of play. There's a couple of upgraded pistols, so this is something where outsiders would traditionally do their best work. You want to have a pistol here to get that info, then Stown to be able to either trade off of that or use that info to get that frag. And then you've got armor on other players here, so you're able to pick that up, siphon the rifles across, try and stay as threatening as possible. Absolute worst case scenario for Heroic here is to get nothing, to get absolutely blank. They need to keep this somewhat competitive in an environment like this.
Definitely some parallels between Fame and Stown in the sense that he may have 1 year on him, but he's the one that's trusted on these hero rifles. He's the one his whole team backs to break some backs and help them come back with this force buy war. Flick concedes just as the jiggles come through. Chip damage onto Shush. No Kevlar. That's a lot of damage from the first connection. Smoked off. Can't actually see the ladder player get activated as well. He's going to go for a more passive approach.
You discussed the mind games here as well. James has been boosted in the B side this entire time, so he wasn't expecting a potential B pop here. Now that Norbert has the space, James is freed up, but he was very sure, or at least had a pretty good inkling, that we're going to finish towards B. So now James is a loose piece. He gets to read this as he likes.
Really interesting from Fame. You can see the passive stance. This is the fight he was waiting for, and Stan does nothing. It's again Fame in the feed 4-2. He is good for the double, is Fame, but maybe Heroic can do something with what remains. Jay making it difficult. On to Javi. And yeah, he's found all of the flags necessary. Cadian now with a tut of his tongue, a quick snap from Medigue, a great shot. And 8 seconds left, he'd have to bang him out now, and that will do. That will do nicely. Outsiders have humbled Heroic.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, it needs to be somewhat costly. So 2 kills, is it going to be enough? Well, no, not enough to get Heroic into another buy round here. Maybe a plant and a couple more flags, you have that conversation. So this is Outsiders after a pistol round loss, course correcting, looking fantastic. And there's key in the back-to-back round. These are rounds now where Fame has got the opening kills in both of them. Right now that means they get an extra. It should be a freebie. It's 5 Glocks, a smoke, and a flash. This is one of the easiest rounds you'll be looking at in this grand final.
He was missing for the first 5 rounds, and now on 13 rounds he's managed to farm up 16 flags. The boy is back.
He's got the most multi-kills in the server right now.
Oh, and there might be a few more on the agenda. Here it comes! With 4! Just knocks Heroic for 6!
Well, yeah, sure, they're eco kills, but that's going to feel good in the context of this game. You have to just know that you're going to be really feeling yourself. A nice little bit of practice there, just whipping that AK around.
Yeah, just making sure it still works. I mean, he was staying real nimble, real dynamic, and to keep track of all those pesky Ts, they were at different angles, only Glocks, but he massacres them. And they'll farm up some frags.
This is a rough-looking buy for Heroic here. They have smokes, they have flashes, but they don't have a full kit by any means. You normally talk about Heroic, the guy like to spawn, picking up extra flashes, picking up extra smokes. This just tells you how they're feeling in the dumps right now. Mid-heavy presence here, 2 underpass, 2 top mid. Cadian over towards Palace and Fame, 20 kills, happy to take the fight. So his aim is
absolutely feeling himself now, Chad. I wonder if he keeps this up, he's going to maybe deter Heroic from trying any funny business short side. He is a demon, he can help you on connector. Well-timed nade. Flit and him are working in unison very well. What a shot! It's straight through the smokes, down, and look at Fame. He's just not flustered. It's a good one back from Shush. Won't be expecting such an immediate trade, because yeah, there comes Norbert, swings through the angle. Positioning brilliant from the Outsiders, looking like the better team. It's Heroic that are getting caught out. Now Cadian perhaps with a lot of space. Now usually there isn't a gap, but I can see Kicker's just jiggling from jungle, so no one knows. No one knows. But Cadian has slipped through. This is interesting. Especially now. Kicker saves the day. Tessa's bomb. 3 to find, and Jane having absolutely none of it. Just holding in that angle. You said already he was posted up, expecting something fruity. Timeout time.
You know what's crazy? James had to get an opening kill. Right? And then coming into this, there's a big discussion about James. Look, he hasn't needed to. These rifles have been able to deal with it, and I'm sure when we get to Overpass, that will be a different conversation entirely.
How's the, you talked about Norbert and Fame being very high-rated openers on this. After that T side, how did they end up? Was it a decent haul? I mean, it's definitely a good scoreline.
Being leveled out now on this CT side, but look, they were doing their job, right? Both of their impact was felt within that first half once they got online here, and this is going to be the 3rd time out. Now, I mentioned earlier as we were just coming back from that break about Exist, right? He's the only man on the stage right now who knows what it's like to taste major glory. They had that massive grab. He's been in 5 major finals as a player. He won 1, right? He has a lot of little tidbits, as you heard from Shush, to give them some major stories, and he needs to keep them cool. Right? Well, we have the cool, calm, collected James on one side of the server. Well, you have Cadian, the in-game leader of Heroic, who is extremely fiery and extremely emotional, so they do try and balance each other out here.
Yeah, well, Jane and Kick It as well.
This is a B-rush.
Yeah, there's going to be Flame to stop him. It does seem to be respected. Okay. Fame and Norbert.
Look at that. Jane and Kick It already seem like they're moving over here.
They're aware. They are all too aware. Safe from the flash. Oh, not the second. Drive-by on the Tech 9. Still Fame ready. Jane already as well in the feed. This is running short of resources. A couple of drive-by dings, but we need to see frags for Heroic. Nicely manoeuvred around the site. Norbert good for another. Down tucked on bench. The whole squad is here. I mean, look at his options. There's nothing to do. A single Kevlar vest and a Tech 9. What you got for us?
And Noah's here as well. You can see the defensive utility they've lobbed at him, so Shush can grab something. It might give them a gap to work with.
He could maybe catch Fame on a jiggle. That low HP doesn't need too much. Now Shush has been spotted out and he tries his luck. Can't really fault him for that. Tries to take the duel against the AWP, but now whilst down revealed, they can't all just peak in unison, and Jane will finish it off neat and tidy. I think neat and tidy is another way I'd describe outsiders. I mean, this defense, let's not forget, Heroic won the pistol. They won that pistol. It was an 8-7 half. They found their 8 immediately and have since been silent.
And what was the first gun round? What did I say when we saw the first AKs come out? There's some omissions here. Yeah. So when you look at this slew of rounds that Fame has impacted into 2 back-to-back, right? The second round buy from Heroic, snuffed out by his Famous. The follow-up round, where they had tried to force it themselves, Fame found a lot of damage there as well. So at this point, it's finally the opportunity for Heroic to start this comeback with the scoreline being 13-8. Right? So the financial issues that have come from losing those first couple of rounds has really caused a flow-on effect here that's allowed outsiders to get this deep. But as the gag goes, paid by the round, let's see how deep it goes. Yanko made comment on the desk that sure, they're a hard team to put away, but they also sometimes have trouble closing out games. And that is likely why we just saw that timeout come through from Dastan to have this conversation. The red carpet is rolled out right now. We win this rifle round. We know that KDN is likely to bring out an AWP here. If we can put them at the post right now, we can close things down and swiftly move on to map number 2.
Let's see what their plan is. Heroic trying to post their fast gun round on this T side. Nothing's worked. Outsiders working overtime. Certainly something they'd like to avoid in this one. An investigation of mid. Nothing to report. That's going to keep Stown locked out.
It's such a luxury for James to have Flit and Fame hold mid on their own with rifles, and the AWP doesn't need to be posted here. It means that he gets to be this mystery. He gets to start wherever he wants. He gets to try and look for the pick wherever he wants. And as well, he did find Fame towards mid. Yeah, he found Flit. This is happening very quick.
Yeah, I mean, a surprise to outsiders and us as well. Now James has to draw his attention to mid. Those 2 aforementioned defenders gone. It was a great frag out of Tassis. You can see Fame was trying to nade him on tap. He must have just swung out and banged him out.
Well, James looking for the window boost here using the light, and this could be a fight here. Sandwich, Shush and kick it on a collision course. This has been quite the duel.
Tentative. Norbert's rotated away. I think all that fast kicked up by Shush has led to an open bomb site. Norbert's going to be aware of it. Kick at the opposite. Nice catch. They can take it all away from outsiders. That would certainly be in their best interests, considering the funds. A lot of cash already on the outsiders roster, but they will play the long game.
They need to fight their way out here. They know Shush was on A, and they know the bomb's gone down towards B. Oh, shot back. So Norbert is trying to buy them a bit of buffer in here. James on high alert. Where has Shush gotten off to? And remember, again, do they want to go for the hunt on the T side? The finances aren't built yet. That's the conversation that Heroic are having right now.
There's a benefit to doing it, but there isn't.
In losing it all is not what buys available on the other side.
The risk. You can see they are just having a little walk around, and there, Norbert rifles put down, but they know it's James. They know that all has been spotted. CT, they say, will they throw all of their resources into knocking it out of his hands? He's doing so much damage. Yabi will post it. His 3rd flag of the round, 2 on the hunt. For Yabi as well, you know, from what felt like the highest highs of Copenhagen Flames to the truly high highs of Heroic.
This, I mentioned it, that Shush kick at duel has been an interesting one. Remember when Shush pushed so much? We caught that in the early stages of this game as well, so it has been a curious one trying to keep tabs on each other. You don't tend to see those matchups actually play out like this, so that's curious, and we can already see the issues of losing those guns. Shush has to have a Galil instead of an AK.
Oh man, I like a bit of aggression. A touch of it from Flip. Just dropped out the window. Has the support of Fame. We know the double Fs like to hold middle in unison. And it does seem like KDN and the boys are coming testing. Could be the run boost. Or to strafe behind it as crosshairs are drawn. Shush catapulted across. A bit of a whiff on that. Still a fight, an easy one for Fame. Drops his panic button before the flame can land. Safe on the extinguish. Tagged up down to 10 HP. Flip to try and bail him out. It's down blinded. Fame relocated. And Heroic have won the duel. They have mid now. It's their territory.
Yeah, but they lost Shush in doing so here. So, in fact, Fame gets to stay alive. He just go hide and wait and just remain a number at the top of the scoreboard. Right? His HP means he can't take the same type of duels as he would like to, but he's still an unknown entity. Now the gap, you would assume it's up short to B, but it is Jane, which is the perfect weapon for these long-range fights.
Heroic come knocking. James opens the door. A lovely find onto Tesses. More required. Rotate on its way. Still not a clear commitment. Heroic can maneuver through window. Cadian's trying his luck. With the bomb? Oh my goodness, that's a ballsy one. No, he's going to be heard very loud about all of this. Wonder if Flit heard the dismount too. Very light on time.
Yeah, he needs this kill. He needs this kill.
He's got so much experience at playing the time like this though. James, the time lord. Just
find
to destroy as they do. Oh, here's some shots. He's still on site though. 5 as they go for the bomb. Bodyguarded by Yabi. Incredible resuscitation for the days, and now Cadian may have spied a frag. Yabi delivers. They will go. What a turnaround. Heroic down in the dumps, but they stand tall. Last second. Yabi gets a lot of praise for that one.
That's a 3v5 right there. That is a massive round to win as far as this comeback goes. The fact that they're able to pull that off, they're able to pull that out. I said Yabi had to get that kill. He did, not when I expected it. So the rotation over, that is a massive shot from Cadian. That is crazy. And the barrel, Pinocchio's nose giving him away right there. Poor James, and this is just a finish. Every shot coming their way. That is definitely going to get the boys fired up. And take a look. Everybody showing some emotion right here.
That's their last timeout, Chad. That is what it is created. The fallout, the reverberation of a 3 versus 5 to go 2v5. Incredible scenes. It was Stout, of course, that contributed initially. Yabi and Cadian to close it out, but yeah, I'd take a timeout too. Heroic has just proven to themselves that they're playing their game their way.
This is going to get difficult now. Outsiders, again, are still going to be able to keep these AWPs alive, which is standard. I believe that was dropped from Kick It over towards James to make it a possibility. They're just going to have pistols here, and it isn't even a full investment. You can see a bit of cash carried through from several Outsiders members. There isn't an all-in. They're playing a bit of a longer game here, as to be expected.
Yeah, power forward, of course.
And they've already lost a 4-spy-ish type round so far, so as Heroic turn all 5 members towards this A site, it is really just Kick It here, who will have contributions from jungle and connector quite swiftly, but if it's a full exec with all the smokes, all the bells and whistles, it's going to be hard for Outsiders to play ahead of this. They don't have their own utility to cause these gaps, but Jane, reading the play, is in a bit more of a forward position to try and punish here.
You know those ghost orbs you were talking about? I imagine this might be one of those situations where Heroic just don't know. He could be anywhere.
And that's why you want to execute. So the biggest issue could be if he was close A ramp or something along those lines. They just have to negate him with utility and they're out.
Yeah, a lot of info. Flit does very well to find the leveling frag through that smoke. An even exchange, but pressure applied. They will bring the bomb through. Tessus, good onto Flit. That was a big one to find just as the smoke does plume. And now the bomb planted, decisions to be made as well for Outsiders. As you said, it was not the full investment. Fame's been very passive in his stance on mid, so maybe containment the name of the game. Heroic will exit as a pack. And Fame's going to get a little bit of a face full if he rounds that corner. Okay, answers given.
I think he's seen enough there, so trying to back off completely here. James is still stuck in towards CT spawn here. It doesn't look like they're going to be coming his way, so saving that AWP, we know it's priority number 1, and that will be confirmed here as they're going to dance away back down towards that A ramp. And we'll keep 7 players alive in round 24. And they should be able to get the buy coming through now. Fame can drop an M4, Flit should be able to buy one of his own, and everything should be looking pretty sunshine and rainbows over there for Outsiders. Now they still have this 2-round lead, and look, this is a discussion point on the desk as well, is about Kick It, who is the sidekick to Jane. Those 2 individuals were in the grand final of Berlin back in 2019. So the experienced members here, but Kick It, he had a pretty miserable challenger and legend stage, and then coming into the playoffs he's elevated his level slightly, but right here, right now, he is somewhat missing, only 8 kills. The rest of the server are getting the contributions, they're getting exactly what they're paid for, but can Kick It be the difference maker here in the pressure moments?
That's what we're about to find out. Stone's going to be very brave around that corner considering how occupied it is. You've got that same Fame and Flit duo. Should you brave the turn of the corner? Now, we won't be doing it alone. You can see they're partnered up top mid. This setup looks good. Nade is better. Onto Shush, down to 50.
Look at how long they're holding onto their smokes for here on the CT side. They're using their forward position with the bodies, so they do not have to drop the smokes, which means now as we get into this 1 minute mark, they can block for as long as they possibly like. Norbert still has one. As soon as he sees any contact, he should be dropping this smoke. And they've gambled away, so kick it as I mentioned. Normally the A anchor is playing over towards B here.
It seems like Outsiders got their finger on the pulse. They're very aware and in tune with what where Heroic are positioned. You can see James has actually put himself at the front of the pack. The spearhead of the assault cuts off Sound.
Not where that came from.
Yeah, and he's in time for this peak. Oh, Cadian out orcs one. Good whack and flip. Multi-kill massacre in the underpass and kick it with 3. Comes online in the grand final, of course.
A bit of a motorbox down there towards the underpass. There was really no way forward. You could just see how many bodies would have dealt with that, but that is for 14, and this is kicking on the jump up. Gets himself up to the double digits with the rest of the team right there. So not a pressure moment, but some big kills and obviously some confidence boosting kills right here. And that right there, you could just see the stoic nature with that utility meant there were so many positions that Heroic couldn't function.
You've been an in-game leader before, Chad. Cadian, James, some of the most seasoned and exciting in-game leaders in modern Counter-Strike. Do you ever get into a position where you feel like the other guy's just got your number? He knows how you're thinking. He's in your head.
Yeah, sometimes you can really be feeling the flow of the game, and this is actually better than outplaying opponents with the ability to shoot them in the head, is out-calling and out-positioning. The best rounds is when we can get into a bomb site and we don't have to kill everybody.
With both of these teams too.
Precisely. That right there is the mind games, and that can start to stew and manifest. And, well, we do have the MAC-10 in the hands of Shush here. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to be seeing anything too fast out of the gates. They maybe could use a top mid-smoke and try and spiral quickly in towards connector. A pace change wouldn't go awry.
Yeah, and actually James gone for a very interesting angle to post up on mid. Now, Yabi's the only one there other than Shush. And he's already past that line. Maybe Flit's going to be a little less prepared than normal for something so quick. If distraction is, well, thrown as it is towards the ramp side, and Shush out, about, and doesn't clear his corners. Damage onto Flit, info as well. Jane never caught out. Yabi meets his fate at the hands of Jane. Only 3 for Heroic, a 3 versus 5. Once, yes, the lightning, will it strike twice? Stown does with her opening. Trying to plant, hectic, good fight back. Stown onto Fame. Cadian's back, his turn is kicking again, and only Stown. A lot of damage done. 3 in the round, but Outsiders, they're up to 15. This is their map pick, and they are showing us why this defense has been brutal. Everything Heroic tries, it seems like there's a remedy, there's an answer, there's an antidote in Outsiders' defense.
That response time there was fantastic as well. Everybody there to help trade out over towards that side. I mean, there was no moment for Stown to take a breath. Nobody from Heroic could sit here and pause. And this was after those 2 opening exchanges came in. So really, really good work from Outsiders here. A decent attempt from Stown. You question what's possible if he had a couple more bullets in that 8K, but that's run dry. And the final buy from Heroic has as well. Rifle sure, but util, it's not existing. Who needs to make the play? Who's going to step up? Gabby with a massive shot onto Flit there.
That is special. Everyone is a real sharp individual. It's the reason they're in the grand final. But who can do it when it matters most? It seems Shush can too.
Well, call it off. Outsiders, you don't have to get involved in this, and classically they will give this one over, but how much damage do they want to inflict? Remember, we're at the tail end right now of map number 1. Giving away any guns on either side is going to be extremely costly, and Yabi, well, he's been sent forward, the dog being left off the leash.
We are playing the game within the game.
A run boost right now towards spawn, so they're using every trick in the book here to make sure that they can avoid this AWP's first shot, and Yabi, if he clears his corners, he might take another.
He's very close to Norbert's head. He's just hit the body.
That confirms where they are right now. You can't really give away any more guns here if you're like maybe 1. Maybe you can have a conversation, give away 1 more fight, sure.
Is there an upgrade for that Galil? Cadian's got time to go shopping and does find it, so
no AWP.
Yeah.
They won't have that as a possibility on the other side of the server, but Jane, who will retain his.
He's just got that name value respect as well. Oh, who's saving? You press tab. Oh, it's him, and he has plenty of cash. The James special.
Yeah, and it does actually get a bit strange with James. Like, in certain situations, he will make sure that he retains enough money so he can have it all. Like, hey, I can drop 2 M4s and we can all buy it. How about I drop 1 M4 and so I can still buy an AWP if it all goes wrong? Like, they quite literally use this like the queen on a chessboard.
There's an example.
Yeah, Kid's got the USP.
He's got $4,000 and Kick gets running in with the USP.
They're going to rush B. Well, this is a nice pace change. Heroic now starting to build himself here. Norbert trying to get back in time, but they should be in.
The smokes will land. He throws out his own. He's going to try his hand and a bit of a defense. A solo hold. Norbert, big frag. Oh! Out of Norbert. Shush and Stan will silence the initial response, but the cavalry still canters in. Flick goes wide. Bomb to be planted. Kick it to distract. Recovers a pistol and a rifle. Equipped now. A 3-on-3. This is a ball. And this is for all the marbles on Mirage. Quick back from Flick. Heroic tapping heads down, still an Ancients with 20 HP, goes down and only Cadian can save them. Kick it and Jane for the map. In this grand final, easy peasy, lemons are squeezed, it's outsiders up on the first map. Heroic crumble. Sets the stage for quite the game, Chad. We've got a good